Welcome back, my friends. It's time for game number 4. And if you only watched the first, 75% of that last game, you might have different expectations than the rest of us coming into this one after 100 Thieves' incredible comeback from 12,000 gold down.
You always got to stick around for those LCS twists at the end.
Oh, yeah. That's what we did. The M.
twists
Night
are the
Shyamalan angle. That was a much better movie than Signs, though. I still hate Signs.
I have to say, I 100% agree. I have to say, though, some of these times when people are just listing metrics and they only list gold metrics as far as comeback potential, one of the biggest factors is team comp and Dragon State. Because of the team comp there for 100 Thieves and because of them being on soul point and it being a mountain soul, which protects you from the burst damage that LeBlanc and Team Liquid used as their biggest strength, that is one of the things that can fall the furthest and leads to those astronomical numbers when you have the 12,000 gold comeback.
Yep.
There are other factors in the game that lead to these states. Let's get right into game number 4 here, though, and see if TL can force 5.
TL back on the red side, and in their first set of bans, Viego is out. They do not want to be playing around that again. Also, another jungle ban there in the Diana. So, yeah, 2 of the junglers the closer has played so far are taken off the table. Aphelios also banned away. Thresh, Trundle, and Syndra. Your other bans on the 100 Thieves side here.
Okay.
Xin the first lock-in.
Yeah, do they want to run the Trundle into it or the Lee Sin into it?
Trundle's
because okay. Well, they get to run Lee Sin into it then. Good ban by 100 Thieves, focusing Santorin, because, man, I actually really like the Trundle into Xin. You can make the Xin. You can force poor situations for Xin a lot because Xin has no escapes unless there's something for him to W, then E charge around. Trundle Pillar is very effective. Plus, you can go with the Red Smite old style where you can just bite him and look for the, once you get advantage.
Just get in there and bite him.
Just get in there and bite him. The old style flowers. That's how we used to fight.
Okay? Kind of League of Legends.
I'm sure you can agree there as a Skarner player. Just get in there and sting him. Right back to the Champ Select here, though. It is going to be another tactical Kalista game. I am a big fan of Team Liquid bot pile style games, so putting him on Kalista with Core JJ, focusing on lane, trying to gain advantages that way, it definitely can be a viable path to victory if you can control those dragons. That was the missing link in this last Team Liquid game. They had a lot of gold early game, but they did not have the early dragons, and that is what cost them big.
And we've got that Rise locked in for TL. Can that work out better than LeBlanc? I mean, Jensen had an amazing early performance on LeBlanc, but then just getting caught that one time in the bottom lane led to true disaster for Team Liquid. Looks like 100 Thieves, they were pretty happy with the scaling that FBI's Tristana provided in the previous game. They'll double down on that, go back to it here in this one. Also picking up the Orianna here in mid for Abadaga.
I'm already thinking which jungler is going to get to bottom side first then. And what can Team Liquid pick for that? Is Santorin going to actually go with the Lee Sin? If he doesn't pick Lee Sin here, it probably gets banned out in 4-5 from the side of 100 Thieves, and then you get pushed down. On the other token, you could also pick up support here to go with your kill lane support and ban out 2 supports away from the Tristana so that you ensure that you get the power bottom side. So they go jungle instead for it, foregoing the Lee Sin entirely and just going Olaf mode. You'll remember some Santorin Olaf from previous years here. He's not too shabby. I always mention Blabber, they mention Closer, but Santorin too has definitely been one of the Viking Kings for the LCS that has had a large amount of success.
Can also pose a problem for Tristana, this champion that normally has so much self-peel. Rocket jump away, use your buster shot to get rid of him. You ain't getting rid of Olaf.
Olaf takes that buster shot.
It just makes him more mad. That's what they want.
It's just the flesh wound, Flowers. Keeps on charging you down.
Team Liquid will go ahead and ban away the Ornn. Someday has already played it twice so far this series. They don't want to give them that scaling power anymore. Rel banned out by the side of 100 Thieves. Team Liquid really focusing on this top lane here, getting rid of the other blind pickable top laner here in Renekton. Yeah, we could see the Gangplank ban here. Nope, Jace instead.
Now, Gangplank looks really good for blind then, because Gangplank also gives you the ultimate to further increase your incentive on the bottom side of the map.
Yep. Is that what they go for,
Is he going to throw it down, though? Aurelia has not been banned.
True.
So they could still flex.
Bard JJ, yes, okay. Core JJ picking up the Bard. You mentioned it at the start of the day in our first game, how Core JJ is just, hey, Bard became a part of the series in TSM, right? And now he's here. Now Bard is magically a part of this series too. This is the ace in the hole.
I would say Core JJ was the better Bard as well for that one. We'll see if he can get up to his roaming ways again. It's an interesting pairing with Kalista because you don't have to perma-roam on Bard either. You actually can, focus, bottom lane gank. You actually have a lot of DPS output, a lot of setup with a Bard Kalista lane. And if you bring the Olaf down, then you can free him up to roam that way, not by sacrificing your bottom lane, but by playing through your bottom lane to open up roam timers for your support as a strong side instead. And that would mean their counter pick for Alphari would have to go the other way. So let's see about it. It's just going to be the blind Gnar here for Sunday. Not a big surprise for them as far as the team fight that they're setting up here. It's a very classic one. They've got the Orianna there. Leona, Gnar, Orianna. Great structure for their team fight.
Yep, these champions all work together nice and easy, but what will be the final piece in the machinery here for Team Liquid? This was banned last game, and now they're giving the Camille over to Alphari. The power of that split push potential, the power of the 1v1, and then in the team fights, the ability to lock down individual targets. The one thing he will have to be very respectful of, FBI with a buster shot can cancel the Hextech ultimatum.
Yep. Keyword there you mentioned, Flowers, is split for Team Liquid. They want to play the map. Ryze and Camille, extremely good side lane split pushers here. And when you have a Bard, it makes every lane so scary to deal with. Because Core JJ is so good about vision control and hovers in the fog of war, threatening multiple lanes with his Bard roam, it really needs Team Liquid to start out with some early success so they can start to control the map versus 100 Thieves, and you snowball that map control into your victory, into your win condition. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves, it's much more simple. Safety in numbers, baby. Hit those combos. You got the shockwave. Manage your rage bar for Gnar, and you should be okay.
Well, Team Liquid has a little bit of insurance against losing this fourth game the same way that they lost the third. If you never have a reason to group up in team fight in the first place, you're probably not going to be grouped up in a way that allows your opponents to just get that big 5v5 fight against you. Never present the option, never give them the ability, and play around the sides instead. Ryze and Camille, so good in those splits.
All right, well, maybe they've got insurance in this game, but 100 Thieves have insurance in this series.
True.
They can afford to even drop this one and still pull it out in game number 5. Like any insurance, you don't want to have to use it, though.
Yeah, I would rather
nice
not. The entire point of insurance is to hope that it doesn't ever get used. Now, game number 4. 100 Thieves wins this one. They're into the final. Team Liquid will drop down to the lower bracket and then face the winner of C9 TSM, which is going to be an incredible series of its own, I hope, playing out tomorrow. Now, let's see if we get anything at level 1.
Yeah, I mean, it would be so big for 100 Thieves. This would be their first return to the LCS finals since their inaugural split, since they formed as a team.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible stuff. And a reminder to everybody out there watching, we got the free Pro View matchups every game, and here in game number 4, it will be those bottom laners, Tactical and FBI, going up against one another. The Tristana versus Kalista matchup. Both these AD carries can be very powerful in lane, so if you're trying to get past that laning phase without me being angry at you for getting double killed before my second buff spawns, hey, make sure you check that out.
And, last game it was fairly exciting. They double KO'd at like level 3 or level 2, all ending off of the Tristana jump there right on top of his head. And yes, game number 5, more silver scrapes would be enjoyable. 100 Thieves, as we said, though, don't want to have to use their insurance here and are going to look for that team fight.
Okay, so let's go ahead, just take stock of everything here real quick. Tactical with the cleanse versus FBI having the heal. Ignite versus exhaust on the supports as well. So difference in both of our bottom laners. Everything in the solo lanes, par for the course with teleports ready to go. We already got the engage here in the bottom lane. Tactical getting engaged on as everybody's got the focus. FBI's got a lot of spears in him though, and he's got to be careful. Tactical with a flash over the wall. It's first blood for FBI. Auto attack attack for auto attack. I'll see you in hell.
We're trying to sell tickets to the bottom lane bonanza, Flowers. Double KOs. Last time it was at level 2. Now it's level 1. I love it. Oh, two of the best bottom lanes in the LCS going full on, no holds barred aggression in the bottom lane.
I told y'all to watch that pro view. I told y'all how to do it. Let's see how they did it again.
Okay, so they're going to push up towards here. You're looking at the minion health. Once that Bard Q misses, it's the signal. Who he says, I can land his Zenith Blade. They walk right up on Tactical. Exhaust goes down, and so FBI, he actually just fights through it with the exhaust on him, blows up the E charge. The Ren comes through to chunk him down. Tactical has the early step on the wall, allowing CoreJJ to get the last chunk onto the Tristana before FBI can then flash over, meaning they both only have health for one auto.
Yep. One auto, and it's Tristana who has the faster attack wind-up animation. She just shoots you and the bullet comes out. Callista has to pull the spear back up here by her head, so she loses out on 100 gold for the first blood. Nicely done there. 1 for 1 in the bottom lane. Game number 4 starting off bloody, and it's only going to get bloodier. Who he always looking for these Zenith Blades and these chances to go in. CoreJJ back down to 200 HP.
Now, the thing is, you have to pay attention to where the waves are pushing, because whenever you have volatile lanes like that, it attracts junglers. And this means for Team Liquid, since they've got Santorin doing a bottom to top clear on Olaf, they have to cede control in the re-engage there. So they just back up, they're under tower, they're just defending. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves, they need to go full out aggression. Xin Zhao's in river, Closer saying, I got you, just continue to go for the trade. So they fish around, they try and get another opportunity. Abadage does get collapsed on.
Flash for flash from mid laners here. Jensen getting that empowered rune prison to lock him down, but Abadaga with the flash in time gets enough distance to make sure that Santorin won't get the kill.
All right, keep your eyes on these flash timers, my friend. The entire bottom triangle of the map, mid lane plus bottom lane included, is up for grabs. This is jungler playground, baby. You've got Xin Zhao with flash, Santorin on the Olaf with flash as well, and plenty of setup from both of the lanes. So I want to track how they actually path towards them, because since they started opposite halves of the map, you can see Closer is going up for his re-clear towards his Gromp and is going to naturally have a much slower route to try and cover either mid or bottom. Meanwhile, Santorin gets ahead right down there, has Gromp spawning, and so he's in the early stage. Bottom lane is recalling for them, and they're going to have to play a lot more cautiously. This is, you can actually infer for the next couple of minutes then. Since you have an Olaf clearing away from you, with the recall going off there from Team Liquid, they don't want to keep it volatile down here.
Yeah.
And they're just going to let the Tristana explosive shot do its work. Slowly last hit the minions, not pushing.
Take your foot off the pedal, let the cruise control take over, and don't be breaking no speed limits. That's the Team Liquid approach here in the bottom lane.
Hands at 2 and 12? 2 and 10?
Now,
I only use one hand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 10 and 2.
10. I mean,
I'm pretty sure
that
that's
would
what they
be
say.
symmetrical.
I don't.
But
I don't remember driving school. That was like 15 years ago or something. I don't know, dude.
exposed.
It's so long ago. You don't know either.
I know, we're a life of Uber takers.
All right, Shockwave onto Jensen. He loses a little bit of HP there. CoreJJ now your target. 3v3 here in mid lane, but no dead bodies on the ground. Everybody gets away from that one, and we still have ourselves a dead even game.
All right, those classic support visits through mid to make it extra spicy. They are a bit punishable, but cooldown's coming back up for all the bottom lane members, so the flashes are going to be available, and mid is the next proving grounds here as their flash is still 50%, so swing and a miss, attempt there with Bard Portals. Just keep on swinging though, Flowers.
Yup, you gotta keep going for them. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott said that about Wayne Gretzky. Now, up here in topside, Closer still doesn't have his level 6. He is about 10% away from that mark. So he needs one more camp to get to that critical ability. Santorin also still only level 5, as CoreJJ is roaming around the way you like to see a Bard do. Someday has just now teleported back into the top lane. And remember that we've got the Hextech ultimatum from Alphari. Pick potential is there. The ward over the wall into the Tri-Brush will spot CoreJJ, so Someday knows that Team Liquid is looking at this top half of the map.
Yeah, lockdown potential here. CoreJJ finally is going to back off on the Bard. and return to the reset. First one there will be Huhi. Remember, when you're left alone too, as a Tristana Kalista, since Tactical has Cleanse, and you have the advantage of the extra combat heal in the 1v1 AD carry versus AD carry, FBI gets to keep on pushing, just keeps blowing up the lane, harassing Tactical here, forcing him back under the turret, and that is drawing a crowd.
Okay, level 5 for Huhi, level 6 for FBI. Tactical with a level 6 of his own, but considering CoreJJ goes on walkabout a lot, there's not always a situation where you can use that ulti as Tactical, so we'll see how often that ends up getting pulled in here this game. 7.5 minutes in, dead even still. Abbedagga and Jensen, both with those ultis ready to go, neither one with flash. You can see that Jensen's flash will come up sooner compared to Abbedagga as Alphari jumps away from the Mega Gnar. Does not want to deal with him in that empowered form, but Alphari does have about a 2.5 wave lead in terms of the farm here.
Interesting timing desync too on the supports, because you can see on the minimap right now, full bottom lanes are recalled for both sides. CoreJJ recalled a little bit later on Bard, but you can use the tunnel through the side of the wall coming from Fountain to gain a lot of distance. And he should, since Rift Herald takes so long to actually take, the full 10 members could easily show up for this.
Oh,
we could just have a giant party at 8 minutes into the game. Rift Herald o'clock is about to strike.
8-minute team fight. Why not? Let's do it. Game number 4. It's time to bring the heat. No ulti for either one of our supports. CoreJJ is only level 4.
Smite's ready.
Okay. Huhi's going in. They're seeing if they can find anything here at the start on the 100 Thieves support. It's going to be Rift Herald going over the side of 100 Thieves here. So they pick up their objective. They disengage. You call that a success.
Yeah, Santorin even tried to flash to get in range for the smite steal. Maybe he was trying to flash for an E combo with his smite, but it was taken away quickly there. And
Huhi did pick it up, though. Normally it goes onto the junglers. This time it's on the support, so that means Huhi will need to continue roaming if they want to use that somewhere other than bottom lane.
And it's going to be interesting, too, because this is also the team with the Tristana and the extra demolition capabilities there. So should be able to feed even more money into FBI to try and get him to that scaling point, get him to the multiple items. Meanwhile, return to bottom side for CoreJJ and Tactical to try and push out. Rift Herald fight one without, tremendous bloodshed. But what about the Dragon Flowers? This was the biggest difference from our previous series that allowed 100 Thieves to come back with that soul. And yet, First Dragon not rushed down. The early priority on this area of the map has fallen to the wayside. So even if they start stacking, it's going to be much later into the game.
Now here in the bottom lane, FBI and Huhi. Huhi's still only level 5. CoreJJ doing the same, but Closer's made his way down. 9 minutes in, almost 10, and still no first Drake taken. But we do have both junglers around the area. Santorin just clearing out his Gromp. He is slightly behind Closer in terms of farm. Not normally what you would expect from Olaf versus Xin Zhao, but that is the state of the game right now. Shelly charging up, ready to go. CoreJJ and Tactical getting some good damage down into FBI, and they won't get any more than just the base 2 plates out of that Herald.
It's kind of funny, too, because, since Huhi's the one who picked up the Rift Herald, you have increased importance on wanting to split it. Here's the engage.
Huhi's already ready to go. Nice use of the ulti there, but the magical journey, Tactical just sucks him in, goes through the portal, spits him back out. Hey, everybody gets away.
Yep, cleanse cooldown used here for Tactical, so not too dangerous for them. Ultimate used on top of it, and they're both able to exit to safety. Now they can re-engage too. Dragon started it.
Huhi goes in after Santorin, but Team Liquid doesn't have the bodies nearby to immediately start some sort of a fight. They do, however, have enough reinforcements to force their opponents off of the Drake and take the objective themselves.
No, that Dragon was so low, and they actually did not just stick around to force it down. CoreJJ and Tactical coming up the river. They got a little bit of an excessive chase on an Olaf that just has to pop ultimate. Really like the reaction there from Santorin. He draws them away from the objective, buys time for his bottom lane to come up, and secures a critical one. First Dragon, and an Infernal at that. Here we go, though.
Alphari could be in a bit of a bad spot here. Abbedagga, the first one to join up, but Jensen immediately follows with a TP of his own. Santorin cannot go in any further. He has no Ragnarok. This ends up paying dividends. The bottom lane river fast forwards into this, and it's another kill for 100 Thieves.
What a hilarious march there. We've got a 1v1 started, and then new challengers approach. Dun, 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 both mid laners teleport up. They're answered, so the defense is there. Oh, a third challenger, Captain Flowers. Now junglers are both approaching. But as he states, only one of them had the ultimate, and Santorin with no escapes on the Olaf. The last challenger just gets burned down, sent to Valhalla, and the extra money in the pockets of 100 Thieves. Now 1.7K, the FTX gold advantage.
They are feeling good about it here. Abadaga wanting to get away. Realm Warp goes in. Jensen looking for something, but he ain't getting nothing. That was such an easy escape there for the 100 Thieves mid laner. Team Sad B. Oh, Jensen, he's not happy to use the Realm Warp just for that. But hey, Team Liquid, they have better scaling than they had in the last game because at least you got the Rise that can just be that incredible late game cannon. But you still have yourself the Callista compared to a Tristana that will outscale. And you know that that last game and that throw, that incredible 12K gold difference that did not matter has to be on their minds.
And it's a lot about spreading map versus condensing map here. Team Liquid definitely want it as open as possible, whereas 100 Thieves would like to condense it quickly. Gonna set up a blue buff handoff there to Abadaga right before the fight.
Who he getting caught out a little bit, but they're the ones trapped in here with him. He tries to flash forward to provide a little bit more CC, but he didn't have it. Closer's ready to go and forces the flash back out of Jensen. Ulti out of Santorin now too means another fight won by 100 Thieves.
Yeah, extra flash used, but they gain the territory in the river. Alfari should be able to just return to farming on top side here on the Camille. Doing quite well for himself, by the way. Still scaling up. Camille looking quite possibly like a mid-game roamer. We'll see once you get your Divine Sunderer done, if he starts to try and move around the map to look for picks with the Hexite Ultimatum. Again, ideal scenario, Team Liquid would like to take down these two side lane, at least outer towers, and then create those opportunities where CoreJJ fishing around with Bard ultimates. He can actually throw them at someone who doesn't have self-speed like Abadaga and usually just walk out of them. But that's a 0 for 2 on an unCC'd Orianna. Orianna definitely one of the best at, I just pop a W and walk out to the edge.
No big deal. CoreJJ gone fishing, but just reeling in a whole lot of nothing. He's now getting caught by Closer, but a magical journey through the wall gets him away safely. 100 Thieves with control over this bottom side river. Unfortunately, there's nothing to really earn with that here in terms of a big objective. The dragon is not spawning for another 90 seconds. 100 Thieves, however, do find themselves a nice blue buff waiting on them, and depriving Rise of that always feels really good. Stop a little bit of his spell spam, his wave clear, slow down the tier stacking just a little bit. Both mid laners' tiers are very, very close to one another, about 10 mana apart, so those will hit that 360 point around the same time. Here in bottom lane, you can see Closer once again grouping up with Huhi and FBI just in case they can make something happen. But it looks like CoreJJ and Tactical are pretty wise to this and don't want to put themselves in a bad spot.
We also have Rift Herald number 2 at the ready, so if 100 Thieves can just transition back up to top side now, another big cooldown blow.
Yep.
Good trade there. Abadaga, these early game Orianna ultimates don't do a significant amount of damage, so if you can just use it there in an ult trade versus Olaf, who the champion loses so much value without having his ultimate to be able to charge into these skirmishes and these team fights, whereas the Orianna still is fairly simple as far as the utilities she can provide, allows them that second Rift Herald we're talking about. And
FBI with the flash. He's ready to go, but oh no, my friends. The rocket jump is interrupted and Tactical gets a payday.
Perfect turnaround there from CoreJJ. Exhaust denies the flash kill attempt from FBI. He then is a sitting duck for that ultimate. Guess what? CoreJJ lands those 10 out of 10 times, baby. And the timing on the Callista ultimate is also well prepped on exiting stasis, so there's no way for Rocket Jump to get out. It's too slow of an animation. Nicely interrupted by the Team Liquid bottom lane. They get the kill onto FBI, however, 100 Thieves, Someday and Closer finish up on top side with the second Rift Herald that they were able to start out during all the action.
And hey, that was first turret of the game, 16 minutes in. That's a pretty slow first turret by most measures. They will convert it into a second turret kill. You mentioned in one of the previous games how much money those are worth now. Big gains there for 100.
Yeah, those side lane secondary turrets are the most valuable in the entire game now that they have been juiced with gold. Second Dragon does go for Team Liquid though, so small price. It seems like we're kind of reverse from previous game.
Well, unlucky for Team Liquid, they also get Cloud Soul. So, feels bad one.
That is definitely a rough one. Let's see. Extra move speed, though. When you want to spread the map and you're trying to
it's really good for Olaf.
Play side lanes, plus you have some champions like Camille, Olaf, Rise that can make pretty good use out of it. It's not as much as a meme as sometimes it is.
Yeah,
You know,
sometimes it's a mega meme, but
Yeah.
with Olaf, I generally think it feels pretty good.
Oh, it definitely feels good just in individual cases like that, but also to how they want to actually play this game out. So last time around, Mountain Soul was the best to try and deny burst damage from a Fed LeBlanc. This time around with, Cloud Soul, speed as well as ultimate cooldown reduction might be just what they need, but it's going to really determine on can they actually get down the rest of these outer turrets to be able to really work with more space.
Everfrost picked up now for Jensen. You can see that coming up at the bottom of your screen. So the chain CC potential, if you can go for a flash-empowered Rune Prison, follow it up with an Everfrost, you can get somebody stuck there for quite a while. Remember that FBI does have heal instead of a cleanse in this game like Tactical does. So there is always some pick potential if Jensen can find the angle. 3.5 minutes until the dragon respawns. So nothing really to fight over here in this bottom side river. Bottom turret has been removed already, so it's not like 100 Thieves have anything nearby to fall back to, but considering they still have a 3-man squad down here, they don't seem too afraid. We just have a vision battle going on right now. Team Liquid trying to get as much control as they can. That's going to be a huge part of their game plan moving forward with these split pushers. Vision to protect them and make sure they're ready for the collapses.
Abadage, too, is ready to go with this Orianna. Level 12, Luden's done, plus has healing reduction with the orb. So all he needs is a delivery system, either Xin Zhao or Leona. Great options.
Yep.
Someday on Gnar could be as well, too, since he's been pretty good at managing his rage bar. As long as he can get that one up. They've got flashes available on everybody. So they're definitely ready to construct their team fight. Team Liquid, though, we mentioned, you finally get your first item there for Camille. Alfari does have his Divine Sunder. Helps you out quite a lot in the 1v1. Early Bramble Vest for Someday, though.
Yep.
Quite a good answer.
Early Bramble Vest for top lane just feels like so much of the staple of at least one side of every matchup these days. This item has such a prominence in these top laners' builds. 100 Thieves still maintaining that FTX gold advantage right around 1,500 here. Alfari's building up a very big wave that he'll be able to shove even further forwards. Remember that they only have one turret on the side of Team Liquid. It is in the bottom lane. This tier 1 for 100 Thieves up in the top side still standing strong with about 75%. We're seeing some on my way pings coming out from 100 Thieves towards the mid lane. I don't know if they really want to try to make a play onto the Callista here with that cleanse. Team Liquid's grouped up, and Team Liquid says, hey, Someday, what's going on, buddy? He's just beat into the dirt, and Santorin takes the kill.
No reason to tunnel over, just wait in the brush for the face check. Someday walks into a river that is not 100 Thieves territory. They have full control over mid, though, and once they see the reveal, yes, half of your team is on top side, eh? Okay, we're going to pay back at least 2 outer towers taken for 100 Thieves in exchange for Someday's life and the top one.
So 2 turrets in exchange for a turret and a kill. That's the state of the game here in the past 30 seconds or so. 20 minutes now on the clock means Baron is alive. And considering the games that we've seen so far in this series, an early Baron is very possible. If we get some wild team fight in the top half of the map, if we get some sort of crazy explosion off somebody finding a good shockwave delivery, or a big fight for Santorin running all over everybody after Core JJ engages with an ulti, there's a lot of opportunities here. And I'm just excited for the first big 5v5 we're really going to get.
Yeah, one of those opportunities I'm curious to see how it turns out is actually the Dragon coming up in 36 seconds, the Soul Point Dragon for Team Liquid, because they don't have topside pushing first. Someday's the first one out there, so he's going to have the extra wave to work with. They both have teleport up there, so they could answer, but Jensen has been able to push a little bit quicker on bottom side and buy himself time to reset first.
100 Thieves will push up the mid lane, get control there.
Rage
Blade for Tactical done just in time for this Dragon fight. So Immortal Shield Bow, Rage Blade, 2-item Power Spike ready to go. FBI still only on the Kraken Slayer. Does not have a chance to go back and purchase a Phantom Dancer even if he had the money for it. Core JJ hanging out on the flank, but he has to retreat because 100 Thieves have control.
Yeah, you have to continue to play to your win condition. You have to split. You are the team opening the map. You cannot afford to collapse for this Dragon. So the reveal is there. Dragon Soul Point denied. However, side lane pressure achieved for Team Liquid. They push the wave in bottom. That draws over the Gnar. They don't get any damage on this secondary one and only have to walk away with a couple of camps denied.
So they do have a nice farm lead up there in top for Alfari above Someday, who does want to make sure he continues to be a threat in this 1v1 situation. Back in mid, things are pretty close. Bottom side comparison, about 15 farm difference between them. So again, still pretty close situations here. And the game itself could still go either way very easily. With the win conditions being so different for these teams, I want to see if Core JJ and the rest of Team Liquid can find the roams where they need them. The split pushing compositions are often the more difficult to execute. You've got to make sure that everybody's communicating effectively and constantly to make sure no one gets punished or caught out at the wrong time, because that's just disaster that'll enable 100 Thieves to deathball down any lane.
And the way you can tip that scale in your favor is the deeper vision, so that Team Liquid get to be the first ones with the information as to the lane allocations that 100 Thieves have decided. So they're deep wards inside this red jungle leading up to the bottom half of the map. That makes it safer for Alfari to split push. You see boom, boom, here and here. Now he can actually push up on the Camille, get some extra distance for themselves. And as the Camille now at least is able to get to the Tiamat, you have at least some of the AoE. You push it a lot quicker, and he should be able to keep up some pressure.
Yeah, it's a huge part of the pressure for this champion, right? Because normally Camille's AoE, yeah, she has some on the E and on the W, but you don't really want to be just using hook shot randomly on waves. It does really hinder your ability to escape. So this purchase, bringing him online here.
And he is going, it looks like, for the Titanic instead of the Ravenous. So Ravenous is much more if you want to stay side. Titanic does give you extra HP for when you find yourself in the brawl for the all-in. So we'll have to see how that one turns out, because it is nice damage, but the sustain from the Ravenous is
huge, right?
is quite big when you get to later stages, being able to heal up very quickly off the AoE of the minion waves, like almost instantly.
Right, and even though Alfari is going for this Titanic Hydra that finds itself as a better team fighting item, it's still not as effective of a team fighting item as what you just saw Someday complete in the Sterix Gauge on the Gnar, right? Having that huge shield in the middle of the fight to guarantee that he can go in for those engages could make a massive difference. Seraph's Embrace, also fully completed, fully evolved for Abadaga. Over on the other side, Jensen has the fully stacked tier, but not enough resources to evolve it into that Embrace here just yet. Santorin also still only on a Gore Drinker and the parts of a Sterix Gauge. Not as many of the parts as his opponent is, but both of those junglers also trying to get that item completed ASAP, as we still have a long way to go here in this game. 24 minutes in, 1,000 gold apart, 1-2 in the Drakes. Nobody's really threatening anything huge just yet.
And it's because they're both just staying in their lane. They're sticking to their game plan, Flowers. You know, they're flourishing here. 100 Thieves, we're not going to step out until the objective is here for the neutral that we can actually force your hand on. Because if they overextend and group up at this point, then Team Liquid get to take more without a big opportunity cost. And Team Liquid, they would say, okay, we're just going to keep on pushing out these side waves. If you want to collect them at the tower, go ahead, but that gives us the first move, so they can try and keep up their vision. And you just work your way towards that next spawn of the neutral, the Dragon. 125 coming up here. Baron is on the table, but there's not, you know, a big enough pivot point that would allow them to actually force on it. And the threat that you keep up while Alfari continues to return to bottom side and push out wave after wave of losing out secondary turrets, and the big gold influx and the extra territory is just too much to overcommit to. So just keep up your vision and bide your time.
Plenty of time to go before 100 Thieves would ever be able to claim that Drake soul. The next one will be spawning here in just under a minute now. 25 minutes in.
Haha!
What do you
He
got?
went with the Ravenous instead. He just kept that Ruby Crystal there. The Ruby Crystal was just a distraction. Ruby Crystal.
Hey, it fooled us because we both thought it was going to be Titanic.
I guess he's going Titanic. You can do it for the extra HP for y'all in, but Ravenous is so much better for the full split. So
Team player Kobe trying not to flame. Be like, well, I think this is pretty crap. But
I default to trust, okay? I default to trust. Alfari's
You're a better man than I.
He's a way better top player than me, so I was like, okay, man, you got an angle here. Let's see it. But it's just a distraction. That's a lucky Ruby Crystal, actually.
Oh, but hey, we've got Team Liquid trying to sneak a Baron here. And 100 Thieves had the ward that sees the Baron taking some damage. The ward has fallen away now.
They've got it. There's no idea. They weren't
paying attention. They weren't paying attention because the champion icons didn't show up on the minimap. So your camera would have to be over the pit to see the Baron itself losing health. Nobody's camera was there. Nobody had a damn clue. Baron for Team Liquid.
It's so smart because they know that 100 Thieves have been waiting this whole time to try and force something at the Dragon. They're like, okay, will prey on what your win condition is, use your win condition against you, and we'll jump the Baron right inside. What a beautiful call there from Team Liquid.
So nicely done.
100 Thieves should have probably done something to check both a little bit more meticulously. They got lulled into a false sense of confidence, having river vision, but when you're against Bard and, there's blast cones over the back of the pit as well, very happy for Team Liquid to be able to take that one. So now with Baron, you get to live the split push dream.
Oh, baby. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for Team Liquid. Now, how much can they get done? They'll have this one for the next 2 minutes or so. Mid lane tier 1 turret still standing. 100 Thieves have kept this thing alive for 27.5 minutes so far. We'll see if Team Liquid has the remedy for that ailment here soon, now that everybody's wearing purple. 2 turrets standing outside the base in mid. Oh, Core JJ got caught. He tried to get away, but it didn't work. Nice pick from the Thieves.
All right, see what they can actually do with it. That is going to relieve some pressure. The Bard roaming around between is a large part of the threat that is applied by this split push. If you don't have that, then you don't have the possible disengage. If one of your split pushers gets caught, the ultimate oftentimes comes in, the tunnel's out, and that relieves so much pressure for the Thieves. Now it just buys them more time to farm. The waves are coming to their turrets, but they can catch them there.
Yeah. Getting single picks, we often talk about in League of Legends, it's not just the kill, what does the kill
relief
get you?
pick.
Yeah, it's a relief pick. It's not like this had to transfer into any sort of an objective. The objective is slow down the enemy's Baron timer. And as soon as you take that one man off the map, hey, congratulations, objective achieved.
Yeah, I remember, it's like Captain Flowers gets a little rowdy at the party. Hey, sit down. Take 5 seconds here.
We gotta chill. We gotta chill.
Relax.
That's what we're doing. We're timing out. We're mental resetting. You can't get too rowdy when you got a Baron buff.
Now, return to the party. He's
now
back up.
We're back
He's
to
back
partying,
in. Core JJ's party, and look at him go on that Cloud Rift, baby, speeding around.
All righty, he's got Santorin right next to him. They're ready to go. Closer is stuck fighting Alfari. He's in the Hex Tech ultimatum. He tries to dash back out. They're not going to get a whole lot there with a shockwave. Closer's under pressure, and Santorin's getting it done. Abadaga's going to be your next target there, going into the stasis, able to stay alive, but the man's not going to be standing much longer. Now he's taken down. Now they're going after Huhi. Now they're going after Someday. They ain't just going after him, they're splattering him. Someday tries to get on out, but hello, it's Team Liquid with a 4 for nothing.
And they party hard, Flowers! Instantly getting the pick as soon as Core JJ's back out on the map. This thing just blows up in the 100 Thieves' faces. Santorin, I have to give so big props to with his target selection in the last one, though. He gets out the first 2 members, flashes to finish the kill there.
Whoa.
Really well done by him.
Look at the damage, it's 3,004 dudes, and the last one's the support. They're on to the Nexus turrets. Team Liquid is going for a potential game ender right now. Closer is their target. He's going to survive for a moment longer, but the Nexus turrets will not. He's in the middle of everyone. Everybody is dying. The Hex Tech ultimatum's ready to go yet again. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want 5 games? Because we're going there. It's time for the final bout.
Team Liquid strike right back. What a response here.
That was awesome. I love Game 5s.
That escalated quickly, my friend. The slow tug of war. Ooh, split push. Can they crack the base? Can they not? Ooh, they got Baron now. Maybe they'll get inside. Boom! And it's all over.
See, I love this because y'all weren't there for our conversation in the caster room before today's series. And I remember telling this man right here, I said, EG versus Cloud9, that series disappointing. TSM versus Immortals, nobody expected that one to be super close. I was like, I need today's to just put some lightning in my veins. And sure enough, baby, it's lightning and thunder all together. I can't wait for it. Silver Scrapes it is. After the break, the State Farm Analyst Desk is getting us all ready for it, and we will meet you back there.
Welcome back to the LCS, but we're going to Game 5, everybody. Silver Scrapes. Silver Scrapes. It's TL that takes us there in a little bit of a comeback of their own in some senses. It was gold advantage one way, Drake's going the other. Scrappy game right from the get-go, at least in the bottom lane, with kills traded early. But I do want to touch in on the draft because some new champions making their way onto the Rift for this series itself in the Olaf, per se, on one side.
And I was scared when I saw the Olaf because there were so many jungle bans. I mean, a lot of the priority picks right now, you're looking at Lee Sin, Diana, Viego, all banned out. The Xin goes over. And then it's like, well, what's your answer now that the Trundle's gone? Because that's all we had really seen out of Santorin. And the Olaf is like, okay, yeah, you're kind of strong, but you're a lot more linear than a lot of the other junglers right now. Yeah. So I was really nervous from TL. And then it gets even scarier because you're like Bard, Camille, and suddenly you're playing this like very difficult to execute comp.
Yeah, and I think actually coming out of Champ Select, this looks like a 100 win because it's so hard to play from TL's position. You don't expect the Camille to be doing well early against the Gnar, but it's Alfari, so he did. You don't expect Kalista Bard to be a particularly potent lane, but they're a good bot lane individually. And I think where the brilliance came out from the TL is understanding, hey, we are in a difficult to play position. We don't want to go for 5v5. We want to play as evasively as possible. So we want to have Alfari on side lane and just make sure that we have as much vision as possible. And we're actually avoiding fights all game so that we can abuse the 4-1.
Yeah, I look at this draft, and for me, it comes back to, if I'm in Team Liquid's position, I'm
like
feeling...
one of those POV pictures, you know, like everyone's looking
there
at
it is.
C9 tweets. They're all looking at us. What are you looking at?
And I guess I
kind of feel responsible for whatever's going on.
like,
in
"All
that
right,
meeting, though." You know what I mean?
POV, you're going to game 5.
Yeah, POV, you're in game 5.
I will say, noticeably different atmosphere in the TL camp there after picking up game 4 and extending to game 5. But Raz, we're diving straight into some of those early game highlights here with action in the bot lane.
Yeah, this is when, much like Kobe said, you're getting the tickets for what's happening in bot lane because it's guaranteed scraps. And I just love the fact that it's just both of the best AD carries in the league, scrapping it out, last auto attack, double KO.
Yeah, they both throw that fadeaway punch and knock each other out. Who's going to get up first? Yeah. It was tactical.
Yeah. I love this play so much because right here, if you think about the TL win condition, it's we want to play side lane and we want to make sure that we're not giving away a major objective like Baron that allows 100 Thieves to take control of the tempo of the game. So by sneaking this, they make sure that basically a win condition from 100 Thieves is removed for that period of time, and you get in a position where you can actually siege effectively.
Yeah, and the timer on that one was incredibly slim. Just remember, like 100 Thieves is playing around the next Drake, expecting it to be, remember, 4th Drake being contested between both teams, all the visions there. They have Scuttle Crab, so their full, mentality is that this is going to be contested, not at all. So it was a very slim timer. I thought it was a great position from Team Liquid. Speaking of great, position, amazing team fight. What's up, Tactical?
Why are they still staring?
Stop staring at me, Tactical!
Don't you guys have prep to do?
Talking about something?
Don't you have prep? What meme lords? They're going into game 5 for the finals, and instead of talking, they're staring at us?
I'm shook. I'm shook.
How are we supposed to analyze when this is...
I'm just going to call out their manager. He's a hilarious guy, by the way.
They got
He's
some hilarious people over there.
Yes.
On to what we were talking about. It's harder to cover. The Team Liquid conversation we started a little bit was like, hey, who's the best late game team right now? And I think it's close. We've seen 100 Thieves able to win some of these team fights, but I do still tend a little bit towards Team Liquid. That Baron sneak being a good example, as well as the fact they were up 2 Drakes, but down 1.5, 2K gold, and they realized their win condition split push, so they stopped contesting the Dragons. They don't care about Cloud Soul. I think they're a very intelligent macro team when they decide to pull back sometimes. And I think that's one thing that is going to have to be circumvented with a good early game by 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and if we think about the way that 100 Thieves has won in this series, one of the games was a really good early game that we did not expect them to win, right? And the other game was off of a really clever draft. Well, or maybe those were the same game. But anyway, my point is, I think TL has actually looked like the stronger team overall in this series. We should remember that last game, it was a 12K gold advantage, a comeback that you don't expect like 9 out of 10 times.
And for me, the takeaway from a lot of the games in this series is that Alfari is just outright outplaying this lane consistently. And there are times where some days getting draft resources to be able to handle it, and of course, it's like falling insanely far behind. In this game, Nar should have an advantage, at least in this matchup, really early on, but he's falling behind. Like he actually got out-traded pretty heavily early on in the lane, and so put all the biscuits in Alfari. Yep. Alfari, I think, is going to carry them. They've already been playing towards topside quite a bit, and I think that's going to be Team Liquid taking the win off that.
If I'm in 100 Thieves shoes, I want to enable Abadage a little bit more again here, because the Orianna, fine pick, strong champ in the meta, but doesn't have a ton of agency when we were talking about things like LeBlanc, Lissandra, and all these things. And I feel like with top lane probably going in their favor, bot lane is pretty contested, obviously, the last 2 games having these 1-for-1 first bloods.
Yep.
I feel like mid jungle is one that they can win with closer, maybe getting the better champion pool pick that he's kind of gotten the advantage of a couple times. And the Orianna just doesn't have the tools to necessarily support you too early on into the game.
So just to clarify, you're looking, your point is around play around mid, not champion pick in mid? Or it is specifically the champion
Orianna
pick?
cannot go herself in a lot of ways, the way like LeBlanc, Lissandra, Syndra, Rise even to an extent can like flash root you or something. And I feel like having more playmaking will be really important, so it's not just on closer.
Yeah, and particularly when closer is getting power picks like Xin. Right? If he's getting power picks like Xin, you want to have a mid lane that actually enables him. I think he's actually been the most important player in this series. And, at the top of the day, we talked about Santorin being able to neutralize or potentially be able to neutralize like he did versus Pika. That has not been happening this series. So I think you want to actually play around closer by supporting him with a mid lane that can follow up on his plays.
These players, just on top of that, because I know we're talking about picks, these players have been here for a long time now. Today, I can imagine like focus really gets drained by fifth game. And even in the last game, we're seeing picks from FBI being picked off, Core JJ getting picked off. Can't happen in this game. So I think like keeping focus in this game is going to be really pivotal.
Well, 100 Thieves gets to choose one final time which side of the map they'll be on, and they are going back to red.
Let's go!
Again, a bit of a pattern emerging here in just the LCS playoffs in general, with red side, I think, being favored a little bit more than blue. But even within this series now, it's clear that the teams think their answer is having the response.
Yeah, and let's review the 2 games where they played red already. The first time they picked a scaling comp that basically had no early game options, and I hated it. The second time they did it, though, they drafted really intelligently. Right? They got the Vayne in there. They picked her 4th, knowing what threats she had available to her, and they knew that, okay, we can pick her into Ziggs. We can pick her into GP, knowing that we can build Wit's End and Immortal Shield build and be safe. So I think they've actually drafted intelligently around red as the series has progressed. So I'm hoping that they are able to repeat what they did in Game 2, not Game 1.
To that point as well, Aurelia, Lissandra, their 2 wins. Orianna, and I think it was Ori again, or maybe it was Rise Game 1. But either way, not as scrappy of a 2v2 mid, so I definitely hope that they have something else in the tank for Abadage to pull out here.
All right, Raz, we're talking a lot about 100 Thieves on red side, with Team Liquid over on blue. Those conversations around jungle pick priority where Santorin was forced onto the Olaf, is there a world in which they can get him back in a position to dominate closer?
Yes, I think there are 80 jungles aplenty, right? Okay. Like the Xin Zhao, the Olaf in this instance, the Lee Sin, they're all been going through. So I'm not concerned about that. I also expect Diana to be banned. And they get Viego first hit. So Viego's not even going to be a concern. Don't even ban that champion unless if they're not willing to pick it, then that's another conversation. Keep doing what you're doing. Play towards topside.
All right. We'll keep doing what we're doing here. For now, spin up that silver scrapes. We're going to a quick break. When we come back, it's Game 5 between Team Liquid and 100 Thieves. Champ select right back here on the analyst desk. We'll catch you in a few.
I'm doing the stare, the Team Liquid stare.
Do the stare.